Hey, good weekend to you. Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Good to have you folks along ahead. He just retired from a long teaching and coaching career, but before he said goodbye to the game, he coached his area high school baseball team to more wins than any other coach in the history of Michigan high school baseball. We're going to catch up with him. I hope I catch up with him and don't drop that. I want to catch baseball metaphor there. But first, majority Republicans on the Ohio Redistricting Commission come up with a new plan after their earlier blueprint for drawing Ohio House and Senate seats was ruled unconstitutional by the Ohio Supreme Court. We talked about that right here last week. Now, the new plan was okayed again along straight party lines. Still got no bipartisan buy-in. We'll keep you posted. But we start here because my first guest and anybody else statewide who wants to run for one of those seats in Columbus needs to know, so where's my district? what district am I running in? I want to welcome in Jim Obergefell. Says he wants to serve the 89th, at last count, I think it's 89th Ohio House District. Folks, think Erie and Ottawa County. By the way, good morning to all of our viewers in the eastern part of our viewing area. Good to see you. Mr. Obergefell, good to see you as well. You run as a Democrat, so let's start there. Whatever happens on redistricting, Democrats will still be in a clear minority disadvantage in Columbus, although the numbers should improve. How would you get anything done?
Well, Jerry, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
And, I think about joining the Ohio State Legislature and how would I get things done? It really comes down to, number one, doing what's right. And doing what's right for everyone in my district and letting them know what I am doing, letting them know that I am fighting for them to make things better for them. Now, within that House of Representatives, it comes down to building relationships with everyone, in as many people in that body as I can, crossing the aisle, helping people understand what the issues are that really matter to the people of the 89th district.
Yeah,
so
I know, Jim, that jobs is one of your big things. I'm going to get you there. If I'm out here and I need a job, I'm looking for a job, I don't care whether my person in Columbus, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, anything else, I want them out there fighting for me to get work, and I'll get to that issue. Why did you decide to run? I mean, what made you want to get into state politics? Was it just the idea that you think you can help the folks over there in your county?
That's absolutely a big part of it, Jerry, but it's also something that's been in the back of my mind for years. And when I moved back to my hometown of Sandusky, and just being with my family again and realizing that there's a lot that the people of this district in Sandusky and the surrounding areas, Ottawa County, there's a lot that they need and deserve. You touched on a really important one, well-paying jobs. I really want, on a very personal basis, I want my great nephews and great niece who are here in Sandusky to have the ability to stay in Sandusky, in the community they love, surrounded by their loved ones, because they have opportunities. So I want to make a change for the people in this district, make life better. And that's really my motivation, is to do things that make life better for everyone.
Jim Obergefell is my guest. He is a candidate for the Ohio House of Representatives, running as a Democrat. And when he talks about making things better for other people, this is the Jim Obergefell who has some history in that area, because you were in a same-sex relationship. You wanted to marry your partner. I got to marry my partner. She is Terry. We want to get married. We can get married. But no, take us back, because it seems almost like ancient history, although it wasn't all that long. Take us back to where we were on that issue right here in the state of Ohio.
Right. So when John and I decided to get married, it was a spontaneous thing when the Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act in the United States versus Windsor decision. And I spontaneously proposed to John. We'd been together for more than 20 years at that point, and we had talked about marriage for a long time. But living in Cincinnati, living in Ohio, we felt like that was never going to be an option because Ohio had passed its own version of the Defense of Marriage Act. Well, when the federal act was struck down, here was our chance to get married and actually have the federal government at least recognize our marriage, say we exist.
Well, Jim, you went off to Maryland to get married, as I read it, but John tragically was ill, and it's a nasty disease, the ALS, folks, Lou Gehrig's disease. But again, the relationship being same-sex affected his wishes and your wishes for his own estate and in life after his passing here in the state of Ohio. Remind my viewers how so.
That's correct. So we got married inside a medical jet on the tarmac of a Baltimore airport. And when we returned to Cincinnati, we just wanted to get married. We wanted to live out John's remaining days as husband and husband. But we were introduced to a civil rights attorney who said, do you guys understand that John's last record as a person, his death certificate will be wrong? Ohio will say he's unmarried, and Jim, your name won't be there as his surviving spouse. And that just, number one, broke our hearts, made us angry, but also made us wonder, well, what does that mean about being buried next to each other or memorialized next to each other in Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati? What does that mean about an estate? What does it mean about all of those things that opposite sex married couples took for granted?
And with that as a background, and I love reading about you, describing yourself, Jim Obergefell, as the, quote, accidental activist. Didn't set out that way, but the circumstances which he has just outlined for us put him in a position where he and his partner decided to challenge the state, sue the state over its laws. It went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. 5-4 decision ruled that same-sex marriages were legal. And I read that when that came down, Jim, you said that you hope that one day the term gay marriage would just go away in favor of the term marriage. Has that happened? Have we done that yet?
In some ways we have, because there have been hundreds of thousands of same-sex marriages across the country. But even though we're able to get married in every state, we really do not enjoy marriage equality. All I have to do is mention names like Kim Davis. We have court officers, public officials who still will not issue marriage licenses or officiate a wedding in that courtroom. We have businesses open to the public who want the legal right to refuse to serve us. So we can get married, but we don't enjoy marriage equality. And throughout that case and afterward, Jerry, for me, it came down to, we are human beings. We have civil rights. We should enjoy the same rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as every other person. And that's really one of the things that I'm fighting for, is to make sure every person in this country, in Ohio, in my district, have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit to happiness. And they can truly be part of We the People.
Let me take a quick break here. He is Jim Obergefell. I'm so glad to have him on my program, running for the Ohio House of Representatives. He has come home, fellow Northwest Ohioans. He's come home to Sandusky and would like to represent the folks over there. So I want to talk some more State House stuff with you, but I need to take a break. Jim, can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right. And I'll be right back after this.